I think there's too much emphasis on the banking system per se, and not enough emphasis on financial markets. You know, when you look at the banking system, a lot of the actual credit activities have been going around the banking system directly into the marketplace. Businesses both purchase and sell, for example, commercial paper as a way of managing their cash. That used to go through the banking system. So, you know, banks certainly were caught flat-footed because of the existence of a lot of these structured securities instruments on their balance sheets. But I'm not sure that just reforming the banking system is actually going to give us the market discipline that we need. We need to have more explicit credit ratings, not just on the instruments, which is what, you know, got us into all these troubles, because one could look at the structure of the instruments and say, I mean, even today, I think in theory, the instruments were structured in a reasonable way, but there was no credit rating on the underlying debt that went into those structured instruments. There was just assumptions that if it was mortgage debt or if it was some prime debt, that it had the same credit characteristics as the legacy securities did. So those are the kinds of things I think we need to do. I am pretty optimistic about the near-term economic outlook. And I'm actually optimistic that the impact of the crisis, however brutal, has helped to change some of the structural imbalances that the U.S. had, sort of de-emphasizing consumer spending and emphasizing more savings and more investment and more exports. So I think that has been a good outcome. Europe has had a huge trade surplus with the United States. Europe sells much more to the U.S. than the U.S. sells to Europe in relative terms. So I'm not concerned about the impact of the sort of a weakening Europe on the U.S. I think this is really a wake-up call, however. You know, just as the crisis sort of helped to rebalance the U.S. economically, I think that this crisis may help to help Europe to take the next stage in European integration. Once Europe established the euro, the next stage of European political integration really was left wanting. And now I think more direct fiscal control, more direct political control, more centralized political and economic control will be the next chapter in European integration. The euro has been a powerhouse. I mean, we have to remember that it was less than a year ago that the euro, that the dollar was like 150 to the euro. So the ability, if anything, what's happening is we are going to larger and larger currency areas and smaller currency areas in the face of these very powerful financial markets and the availability of derivatives to essentially attack a currency, which is what's happened here with the euro, means that currencies have to become more robust, not less. I think it's really under attack because there are, especially in the U.S. and probably to some extent here in almost every major developed economy, I mean, here it's interesting to watch the resource tax debate and all of this, that there really are two economies, and there are the economies of what I would call the large multinational firms, financial and non-financial, that have grown not because really their growth in the domestic marketplace, but oftentimes because of their growth, they often have a large share of the, say, the U.S. marketplace, but they've grown because of their global growth. And if you look at CEO compensation, one of the strongest correlations of CEO compensation is to size. About 60% of CEO compensation can be explained sheerly by the size of the firm. And so this, it's like having giants grow within your community. And for average people who don't have access to that economy, they may be relatively successful small business people, or they may be contractors, people who have lived their life with hard work. There is really now a kind of an air pocket that's developed between the notion of their ability to achieve a level of security and what they view the elites to have the benefit of, which is not only security, but almost immunity to the kinds of economic challenges that the average American has faced.